This is a quick overview of the application that I want to convert out of Flash ActionScript and into C++ WebAssembly. The purpose of this stage is to define a minimum viable product, a small piece that we can do just to test out the technology and the scale and the cost, etc. So we're going to go through it quickly, but it's focusing in on that particular MVP. So the first panel just shows the outline formed by the graphic of the main Flash stage and the login movie clip that's pasted on top. There's a guest login, which I'll send you details of, which will allow you to drop into the actual application on the web. But just as a student logs in, the system downloads a unique menu for that student. So there are assignments that can be given to a student which will either provide them with the whole menu or a restriction of it. The menu is displayed, and there are 9 elements in the top of the menu, 2 of which, the top 2 are rather generic introductions. Then there are 7 content components, 1 of which databases you can see is disabled, and that illustrates the point I made about assignments. So for this particular login, databases is not included in what they have access to. For the purposes of this demo, we're going to select word processing, and that opens up the next level menu from which we select the 4th option, advanced features, and from the next one, document formats. That opens up the 4th level menu, and here we're going to pause for a moment just to talk about nomenclature, generally about what we call things. Okay, as I indicated, this is a content-free set of code that reads in everything from external XML or other files, and the naming system determines exactly which files are involved at each point. So we've got, look at the 4 levels, we call them course, menu, learning unit, and element. And the first 3 are named alphabetically, A, B, C, D, E. So we chose word processing E, then D, then A, and the element level is numbered 1, 2, 3. So the particular element we have chosen has the unique identifier EDA3. All of this information is specified in an XML file called nav.xml, including, you notice there's an estimate of the duration of each of the learning units, and that is specified as well, which we can pick up at a later stage. So we select that 3rd element called creating a template, and that drops us immediately into a sequence which makes up that element, and that is read from an XML file called eda3.xml, which we'll have a look at in more detail later. Okay, the first of these is just a simple panel known as a presentation element, and if we select, we'll stop here and just quickly look at the navigation. We're about to select the step forward option, which goes through step by step. There's the next to the left is a fast forward option. There's an exit button, there's a menu button, then the fast back, step back, and finally, furthest on the left, is a score button, which opens a panel which reads directly from the database for this particular student in the cloud. So I'll give them a summary of all the scores and all the assessments they've done so far. So the next item to appear, having clicked next, is, or step forward rather, is a simulation, simu view loading panel, okay, which again we probably won't use for the MVP, but it does allow you to confirm that the video file has loaded, and the continue button, which we see there, is only made available once loading is complete. So one would click continue and then move straight into the first frame of the video file, and the XML dictates exactly which frames are displayed, so that video doesn't play right through. It can, but generally the mode we use is single stepping through the frame for purposes of the simulation. So this first screen is simulating Microsoft Word, and there's an info box at the bottom which is draggable, which describes what the student is looking at and what is going to happen. Essentially, during SimuView, the student only presses play. They just advance the system, and as they do so, there's a mouse tween which operates to move the mouse up to the point, in this case, to click on File, so they can visualize where they have to click. So on clicking play, the mouse tracks up to File, and the video steps to the next frame, which displays the drop-down menu. The student clicks on Save As, and so the process continues. I won't comment in detail, but we'll just allow it to step frame by frame so you can get an idea of how the process unfolds. In this case, the student saves as type, selects Document Template, clicks in the File Name field, deletes the existing name, types a new name, Company Fax, saves the file, closes the current document, then creates a new file from the File menu using the template just created. That brings us to the end of this sequence, and you can see that by the info box, which has the statement: you completed the sequence, click Restart to begin again, or Next to proceed. So if we click Next, we move to the next unit in this element, which is the parallel to the one we've just seen, which is a CompuTutor, the same sequence, the same file, but specified differently in the XML, because the user now has to take action. They've seen how it works, now they have to actually do it, so they're assessed. Although it's not a formal assessment, their decisions, where they click and what they do, is treated with a ticker across, so it's an informal assessment, part of the tutorial component. So that's the end of this little demo, and so we're going to hone in by looking in more detail at the XML file and the specifications and processing that data in order to display the video in the way we've just seen, a step-by-step movement from one frame to the next as specified by the XML.